In a few days, we will welcome a new year. And I think most of us will be happy to see 2020 go out the back door, 2021 come in the front door. A new year, at least the sense of something new, brings us hope. It inspires us. It gives us that, a fresh start, a chance to start over again. So here we go with 2021. Who knows? Just God. What this year will be like. We hope it will be better. We can't imagine it being worse, but only God knows those things. And our confidence is in Him. After all, we are a people of faith, right? We are a people who have faith in the Creator God, in the one who sustains all things because He created all things and therefore has authority over all things. But as we enter 2021, as we start this new year, I think it's important for us to remember that everyone around us, even though they may not be part of our community of faith, even though they may not be followers of Jesus, even though they may not even acknowledge that there is a God, every one of us is a person of faith. The difference is the object of our faith. And depending on the object of our faith, we will express that faith in different ways. We've certainly seen a movement in the last 50 years in our Western culture where there was an assumption, or at least a tolerance, if not better than that, of the reality of God. But our social and cultural values have moved away as that has been questioned. And we see the dynamic, the impact of that in many parts of our culture and society today. So as we start 2021, I want to ask the question and provide a framework for an answer. That how do I engage in life as a person of faith? Recognizing we are all people of faith, but particularly if my faith is in the Creator God. How do I engage in life as a person whose faith is in the Creator God? The social issues we are facing right now have been tempered a little bit by the pandemic, but they are more dramatic, more impactful, more polarizing than we have seen in a long time in our culture and society. So how do we respond in 2021 to represent Christ well, to engage in life and not pull back and separate ourselves or cloister ourselves, but continue to be salt and light in an increasingly dismissive environment of the reality of faith? And we want to do so in such a way that offers hope, demonstrates the love and the goodness, the compassion, the mercy of God, but also His righteousness, His justice, and His holiness. So how do we combine those things? How do we express our faith in that reality? What value is our faith if it's not engaged in life, and if it doesn't give testament to the reality of the God that we follow? Now, one of the dangers that we will face is we can separate our life and live it in two halves, where there's our faith life over here, and that takes place in intimate environments on Sunday morning in our private, quiet time at the beginning or end of the day. And we keep our faith in that little sphere. That's what our culture would love for us to do, to just keep our faith limited in that small sphere. And if you can do that, you can believe whatever you want. And then there's the rest of our life where we accept and engage in society as it embraces values and beliefs. But as followers of Jesus Christ, knowing that the Creator God has authority over all things, our commitment being to worship this one true God, the living God, our faith doesn't live in this little box over here. Our faith saturates everything. And that's the whole point when Jesus said that we were to be salt and light in the world, that we are to saturate, we are to engage. So starting 2021, how can we engage our faith in our culture, in our society. And that's where we are going to spend the next several weeks together, leading up to our 50-day spiritual adventure in anticipation of Easter. That, who knows, maybe we will be gathering in a regular way by then, and we can celebrate Easter and Christmas together, Creaster, as we might call it. So, the greatest good, what is that? Our society, people in our society would all agree that we need to be in pursuit of the greatest good. From a Christian perspective, though, what is the greatest good? That's one of the questions we are going to answer in this time together over the next few weeks. What is the nature of God's created order? What are his expectations for us living in this world he has created? What is this like? How do we function in this, especially since in some way it has been, just as we have been, impacted by sin? And does it really matter? Or should we just be happy to worship on Sundays, to live good lives, to be moral people, to engage with the greatest commandment and the Great Commission and just be content with that? Or is there something more? God has created us people of passion. And that passion can express itself in many ways. Some of us are passionate about sports. Some of us are passionate about books. Some of us are passionate about finances. And there are some people that just seem naturally inclined to numbers and making money. It's just a gift God has given to them. I'm not one of those. I'm really not inclined to sports either, as much as I love them. But we're all people of passion because that's the way God has made us. So as we have a passion for God and we worship him, as our life is ordered after the truth of who he is, our redemption and reconciliation through Jesus Christ, how do we understand what is the greatest good? How do we understand the nature of God's creation? And how do we saturate this creation and the people in it with the love and the goodness and the compassion and the mercy and grace of God, and at the same time represent his justice, his righteousness, his holiness? Our Christian response to social issues is going to portray, it's going to communicate a significant reality about the nature of our God. If we want the gospel to be impactful in society, it needs to begin by our own personal responses to the social pressures around us. And some of us are under a great deal of pressure, where our culture says, unless you affirm this position, you must hate. It's not logical. It's a disconnect. But that's the aggressive posture in many of the social issues today. How does a Christian respond to that? So I'm hoping as we unpack this, we are going to look beyond just a prescribed set of rules that we do A, B, and C. But we engage and love God with our minds as we understand better what it is to represent him in his creation. And we may come to different conclusions on how we express our faith, how we demonstrate our faith. Maybe there's more than one way to do it. But that's okay as long as we maintain rooted in our faith in God, the God that we worship, the creator of heaven and earth, the sustainer of all things, the one who holds authority over all things, the one to whom all things are subject. So join me in 2021 as we investigate this faith in life together. How are we going to be salt and light as we represent Christ well in his creation? How do we figure out what is the greatest good?